When I was a child in that environment, it didn't always feel like chaos because that's just home and it's just what I know. My mother had her struggle with addiction, but also worked a lot, and so she was not there very much in the beginning. I was living with both of my aunts and my grandmother. One of them was addicted to heroin, and she was an addict, but very present and had, her addiction progressed, she would have these just huge, open, festering sores all over her legs. And she would call me into her room and she would take off the bandages and she would say, look at this. And there's no excuse for you to end up like this. And I'm, 9 years old. It was horrific. I remember after he was murdered and going to the funeral and not really being sad, not really grieving about it, but I looked at his body for a really long time and all that I could think was, I have to get out of this, or this is what I'm going to end up like. I must have been thinking, it's obviously going to be a white guy because that's just what I thought attorney meant. And so we went up and Leonard McCants was black. And it just really blew my mind. Nobody that I knew who looked like me or who I could actually touch had been to college. One of the first things I said to Mr. McCants was, how can I be like you? And he said, what do you mean? And I said, I want to be a lawyer. How can I be like you? And he says, well, you have to read a lot and you have to be a good writer. And I said, okay, I can do that. Well, first of all, I really wanted to go to Georgetown. I remember looking at the students here thinking they're so lucky and just wanting to be, this is where I wanted to be. The way that my day would work is I would get up really early, go to work. My son was now at an age where he started to notice if people weren't there. So it was important to me that when I could, I would leave work to go see him for lunch, go back to work, and then about 4:30 or 4:45, come here to the law school and be in class from 5 to 9, depending on what day it was, Monday through Friday, and then get up and do it all over again. It was really stressful. And every semester until the one that I graduated, I always had some moment where I was just like, done. She offered me the job and we just like jumped up and down and rolled around. It was just like euphoria. It was craziness. So it was really special moment. I drove past my father's house and the house where he was killed. And so that day I drove back by and I just remember thinking like, at that moment, maybe I've made you proud. And I hope I have. So, yeah. I think being a minority woman on the court is a huge role model for me and other women of color. And it was really important to me to see how when she goes out into the community, people react to that and what a huge thing that is. Clerking for her, I think, was an incredible opportunity in that regard. What do? I don't know. And so that's what I've been really reflecting on since the clerkship is, what do I do with it? Because I don't want it to be a wasted opportunity. I don't think I got that job and finished it to just go do nothing. So it has to be something important. People always say experience is the best teacher, and it doesn't have to be. Like, there are people who went through horrible things, so you don't have to.